right, whiskey lovers, ready to dive into something special.
Always up for a dram, especially when it involves those independent bottlers.
Me too. And today we're talking Signatory Vintage.
Yeah.
You know, the folks who seek out those hidden gem casks?
Ah, yes, the ones who believe in letting the whiskey speak for itself. No coloring, no chill filtering, just pure character.
Exactly. And to guide us on this journey, we've got tasting notes from Luka Gottschalk. He's a Danish whiskey enthusiast. You might know him from his blog.
He's got a great palate. Really insightful.
Totally. And he recently got his hands on a few new Signatory Vintage releases, so we're taking his notes for a spin.
Sounds like a plan. Where are we headed first?
Well, we're going to start things off on Islay.
Classic. Which distillery?
Caol Ila. 10-year-old single malt, matured in an Oloroso sherry cask.
Oh, now that's an interesting combination. A bit of sherry influence on those bold Islay flavors.
Exactly. And get this, Luka described the color as, and I quote, deep amber gold.
Definitely a telltale sign of those Oloroso casks working their magic. Adds a certain richness, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. But it's the nose that really caught my attention. Ready for this?
Oh!
Blood orange, pomegranate, anise, bacon, and of course campfire smoke.
Wow, that's quite the sensory explosion. It's amazing how sherry casks can tame those bolder Islay notes, though, isn't it?
It really is. You still get the smoke, but it's rounded out, more nuanced. So what about the palate?
Well, Luka found it bittersweet with dry peat and fruity nuances.
Okay, so that balance of sweet and smoky continues. What about the finish?
He said it was long and lingering with hints of berries, coconut tobacco, and a dry mouthfeel.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. Sounds like the sherry cask really made this Caol Ila something special.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more approachable for those who find younger Isleys a bit too intense.
Definitely. Excellent example of how cask selection can really influence the final character of the whiskey. But shall we move on to something a little different?
Yeah, lead the way.
All right, we're heading to Speyside next. An 11-year-old Craigellachie, also finished in an Oloroso sherry cask.
Craigellachie, huh? Now, they're known for their, well, some might say funky character, those meaty, almost sulfurous notes.
That's one way to put it, but don't let that scare you off. Luka found this one surprisingly approachable. He noted a deep, dark gold color, which again, pretty typical of that sherry cask maturation.
Makes sense. So what about the aroma? Did he get that signature Craigellachie funk?
Funny you should ask. He actually described the aroma as intensely sweet, used words like ribs, red grapes, strawberry, even vanilla pudding with cherry sauce.
Okay, you had me at vanilla pudding. That sounds dangerously drinkable. But what about the palate? Still rich and decadent.
He described it as rich, creamy, heavy, which, believe it or not, actually aligns with Craigellachie's unique distillation process.
Oh, tell me more.
So they use these old-school worm tubs for condensation, and some folks believe that contributes to that creamy, almost oily texture.
Worm tubs. I've heard of them, but I'm sure some of our listeners might be wondering, what in the world is a worm tub?
Right, so picture this. Instead of those modern shell and tube condensers, Craigellachie uses these massive wooden tubs filled with cold water and coiled copper tubing.
Okay, I'm picturing it. What happens in there?
Well, as the hot alcohol vapors from the stills travel through those coils, they condense back into liquid. But because it's a slower, less efficient process than those modern condensers, it allows more of those heavier, oilier compounds to make it into the final spirit.
So it's like they're holding on to a piece of whiskey history.
Yeah.
And in doing so, they're creating these really unique flavor profiles.
Exactly. Tradition and innovation intertwining. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. So back to this Craigellachie. How'd it finish?
Luka described it as medium long, mild, sweet, and pleasant. Said those sherry cask flavors really integrated well with the distillery's character.
That's good to hear. So it seems like this Craigellachie might be a winner. You know, it's interesting. Luka actually compared this 11-year-old to their 13-year-old bottling.
Oh, really? And what'd he think?
So this one, the younger one, is actually a step up in terms of balance and complexity, which goes to show you, age isn't everything in whiskey, is it?
Not at all. It's all about the marriage of spirit and cask. Speaking of which, ready to try another Speyside?
Always. What do we got?
This time, it's a distillery Luka admitted he hadn't tried before. Auchroisk, a 13-year-old, bottled at a respectable 100 proof.
Ooh, 100 proof Auchroisk. Now that has my attention. What were his first impressions?
Well, he said the color was even darker than the other sherry cask whiskeys, which is saying something.
Right. Sherry casks tend to lend a good deal of color.
They do. And despite that higher proof, he found the nose to be surprisingly restrained. Got notes of cherry, licorice.
Okay, I'm with you so far. Those are pretty classic sherry cask notes.
They are. But here's where it gets interesting. He also picked up on fresh mint.
Mint. Now, that's not something you'd typically associate with a sherry cask, is it?
Not at all. Makes you wonder about the history of that particular cask, doesn't it? Maybe it was seasoned with something else before the Auchroisk went in.
The mystery. It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
But how did those aromas translate onto the palate? Did that mint carry through?
It did. Luka said it was darker, deeper than the previous whiskeys. More of that minty freshness. Got some dark chocolate, too. Said it had after-eight vibes, along with cherry and blackberry.
Wow. So it's safe to say this Auchroisk is a complex one.
Definitely. And the finish is no slouch either. He described it as long and complex, with toasted oak, vanilla sugar, herbs, and a gentle bitterness. Even went so far as to call it a Speyside sherry bomb. Said it could stand up to any competition.
High praise. All right, Auchroisk has officially been added to my must-try list. It just goes to show, even in the well-trodden fields of Speyside, there are still hidden gems to be discovered.
Absolutely. But we're not done with Speyside just yet, because up next, things are about to get really interesting.
How so? Don't leave me hanging.
We're diving into the world of secrets and whispers with not one, but two secret Speyside M bottlings.
Secret Speyside. Okay, now you've piqued my curiosity.
And rumor has it that mysterious M stands for none other than Macallan. Macallan. It's a name that gets whiskey lovers talking, right?
It does, but it also comes with a certain, shall we say, price tag.
True, those official bottlings can get pretty pricey.
That's where these independent bottlings come in, though. You get a glimpse into that Macallan style, but maybe without breaking the bank?
Exactly. It raises some fun questions, too, like what actually makes a Macallan a Macallan? You know? Is it all about the sherry casks? Or is there something more to it?
That's what I'm hoping we'll find out. So should we dive into those secret Speyside M tasting notes?
Let's do it. We'll start with the 12-year-old, bottled at 48.2%, so a good strength.
All right. What did Luka think?
Well, first thing he noted was the color. Described it as rose gold.
Ooh, fancy. Sounds about right for a Macallan, though, doesn't it?
It does. And the nose. Classic Oloroso sherry, apparently. Hazelnut, marzipan, dried fig, dark chocolate.
Okay, I'm sold. Where do I sign up? But seriously, those are all those classic Macallan sherry cask notes we love.
Exactly. But remember what we were saying before. It's those subtle differences, the nuances that make each cask unique. And Macallan, they really are known for their cask selection process.
All right, they don't just use any old sherry cask, do they? Only the best of the best.
Exactly. So even though we're talking classic sherry notes, you can bet there's a certain, elegance to it, when it's a Macallan.
I get what you mean. So what about the palate? Did it live up to those sherry-forward expectations?
According to Luka, absolutely. He got marzipan, pure cocoa powder, anise, orange peel, and a very faint hint of smoke.
Hold on, rewind that. Did you say smoke in a Macallan? That's not what I was expecting.
I know, right? It's unexpected. Maybe they're experimenting with their cask selection these days. Or maybe Luka's palate is just super sensitive.
I mean, I'm not complaining. A little hint of smoke can add a whole other dimension of flavor. Okay, so we've got the sherry, we've got the smoke. What about the finish?
Luka described it as long, with the dark chocolate transitioning into black coffee.
Ooh, I like that. That bittersweet ending.
Right. A sign of a well-aged sherry cask whiskey, that transition.
Makes sense. All right, you've convinced me I need to try this secret Speyside Macallan. But we've got one more to go, right?
We do. The 13-year-old. This one's bottled at a slightly higher proof, 57.1%, and it's a bit of a wild card.
How so?
It's a mix of bourbon and Oloroso casks.
Ooh, now that is interesting. So we're not just getting that classic Macallan sherry influence here, but also some of those American oak characteristics.
Exactly. It's like a cultural exchange program for whiskey, right?
I love that. Okay, I need to know, did Luka pick up on those bourbon cask influences?
He did. He noted a lighter color on this one, light gold instead of rose gold, which makes sense considering the bourbon casks.
Makes sense. Lighter oak, usually a bit lighter in color.
And on the nose, he got raspberry compote, cinnamon, vanilla, and dark bread.
Dark bread. Now, that's not something you hear every day in a whiskey tasting note.
I know. It's those little curveballs that make tasting so much fun.
So we've got the bourbon influence on the nose. What about the palate?
More surprises. Luka found chocolate, pastry notes, and you guessed it, that touch of smoke again.
No way. So maybe it wasn't a fluke with that 12-year-old. Maybe Macallan is experimenting with a bit of peat.
Who knows? But it's fun to speculate, isn't it? The world of whiskey is full of
There
surprise.
really is. Okay, last but not least, tell me about that finish. How does it all end?
Lucas said it was long with tobacco, licorice root, marzipan, and vanilla. Quite the combination.
Sounds like it. So, two very different secret Speyside M bottlings, but both with their own unique charm.
Absolutely. And both showcasing the magic that can happen when you combine exceptional casks with a bit of skilled maturation. But, as much as we love deking out over tasting notes,
It's easy to get caught up in the details, right?
it is. But at the end of the day, what matters most is how it tastes to you.
100%. What Luca might describe as intensely sweet, you might find, well, a little too subtle, or vice versa.
That's the beauty of whiskey, though. It's so subjective. We all experience those flavors a little differently.
I totally agree. It's like, when you're trying to describe a color to someone and they're just not seeing what you're seeing?
Totally. Or like music. What you hear in a song, I might hear something completely different.
Exactly. And it's the same with whiskey. So even though Luke has given us some fantastic descriptions, it's really just a starting point.
A springboard into your own exploration, right?
Exactly. Maybe those secret Speyside Macallans get you thinking, I need to try more independent bottlings. Or maybe Luca's love for that Auchroisk inspires you to explore more sherried Speyside. Or hey, maybe you're thinking mint and dark chocolate. No thanks, I'll stick to my peaty Isleys.
There's no right answer, is there? It's all about finding what you enjoy.
Exactly. The most important thing is to trust your own palate. Experiment, take some risks. Who knows, maybe you'll even discover a new favorite whiskey along the way.
That's what it's all about.
Well said. Well, I think that just about wraps up our deep dive into the world of Signatory Vintage. What a journey it's been.
It really has some fantastic drams in there.
They really were. Big thanks to Luka Gottschalk for sharing those amazing tasting notes with us.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And to all our listeners out there, keep those glasses charged, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.